My name is Livingstone, and welcome to our weekly session evaluating, going through my new book that is Value-Based Leadership. And the book is just about 25 leadership challenges and how to handle them. So my name is Livingstone. This is our second session, and the previous session we looked at the first leadership challenge, that is managing internal and external challenges. And maybe just to recap up is we saw there are several types of challenges. There is external, internal challenges, and also challenges that arise from the role or the job or the business that one is undertaking. And so from a leadership perspective, it's important to have self-awareness and just to know how to deal with the challenges that come in. And so we saw external challenges come from the role, being a leader. So there are people checking on you, criticizing you, always checking on what you're doing. Then we have internal challenges that arise, emanate from our internal intrinsic values and who we are based on our personalities. And then there are roles, challenges that comes from the roles we play, the job roles, the different job roles. And depending on the role, we have different challenges. But in conclusion, we saw that the most challenging, the most difficult challenges to deal with are the internal challenges. That is the challenges of fear, insecurity, feeling like you're not worth. That is the imposter syndrome, decision fatigue. And so as leaders, we really need to know how to deal with them. And so, as I said, we'll be having weekly sessions, and then also we'll be having a webinar every Friday just to evaluate and to go deeper. So this Friday, we'll be having our first webinar, which will go now through the details of how to deal with internal and external challenges. So I would also plead with you just to register, join the webinar so that we can learn together. And we'll be facing and looking at the reflection questions from session 1. That is, which leadership challenge do you struggle with most? How do you normally respond to public criticism or failure? And what support systems have you built into your leadership life? Every leader needs to have a leadership supportive system so that you know how to deal with internal, external challenges, challenges arising from your job or your role. And what one area would you ask for help? Sometimes we need to go for help so that we know how to deal, maybe for counseling, or to have a support system, or to have friends you can confide with, or to have leadership training sessions like what we are having. Because it's important to get that support. So today we'll just dive into our second session, and that is the challenge we are having is overcoming adversity. So overcoming adversity is what we'll just look. What is adversity? Adversity is the difficult situations that we face in life. It can be based on our life or our job or our career. And adversity is the fire that reveals the quality of leadership. So as leaders, one of the areas all the way is how do you deal with adversity or challenges when they come. And it's not an obstacle. Many people think that adversity is an obstacle, but it's a furnace or it's a fire that really shapes our leadership. People have gone through a lot of fire and adversity, but they've ended up coming out strong, better leaders, with more wisdom and knowledge and how to handle with things. And so both, as we look from the Bible, the biggest leadership book that we can always get, there are so many examples of people who managed to go through challenges and they came out very strong. And we can see even in our personal lives, even as we look at history, we can see adversity as being used by leaders to refine the character of leaders, to renew commitment, and also to reveal people's calling. People have really known their calling based on the adversity and the pains and the challenges they go through. And out of that has birthed a passion to help humanity, to fix the problems that they went through. So if we make just a reference maybe from the Word of God, from the Bible, we can see so many people who endured a lot of adversity. One of them is Paul. Shipwrecks, he was beaten. We can see Peter. We can see Jesus went through the same. Even when he went to a garden of Gethsemane, he had a lot of pain. He knew what was ahead of him. We can see our leader David. Remember the verse I talk about a lot in leadership, Psalm 78, verse 72. He led with integrity of heart and skillful hands. But the skillful hands that David, we can see that he emulated in his life, was bathed in the adversity he faced. Even that time he was a shepherd as a young man. And also even the time he killed the lion, killed the bear, he killed Goliath. And even the time now, even when he was anointed, he was chased like an animal by an army of Saul. And he was able to go through a lot of adversity. And he learned to trust in God. He learned that experience made him a good leader. And actually, if you can read Psalms 27, one of the best Psalms also David wrote, where he was saying, even if I'm surrounded by an army, I'll fear not. So David managed even to conquer fear based on the experience that he went, the adversity that he went through. And so he's a good example. We can see based on the adversity he faced, he turned it around for his own good to become a great leader, a passionate leader who had humility, who also knew how to trust on God. So many times you see we go through life, there are many challenges, adversities that come. We can see a great leader like Nehemiah. He faced a lot of external threats, mockery, as he was trying to rebuild the gate of the walls of Jerusalem. But we see at the end of the day, he overcame, and he is termed as one of the greatest leaders, who was able to bring the vision and come from captivity, bring the vision to the people, talk to them, and even gather them together. And so what we can see, we can look at some of in the book I explained some of the forms of adversity we get in life. Can be discouragement after conflict, betrayal by somebody close, can be a spouse, can be a very close friend, they betray you and it's like the whole world turns down. Can be financial strain because of unmet expectations. Maybe you're the leader or your business or you are in the ministry and there are challenges even in families, sometimes financial strains. And financial strains are one of the things that bring a lot of issues even in marriage and breaking of marriages. So when adversity in terms of financial constraints come in as leaders, how do we go through them? How do we manage them? Physical exhaustion of burnout. Burnout comes because of so many things, because the pressure of life or based on our personalities, on what we are going through. And how do you manage that adversity of burnout when now you feel like giving in, giving out, you know? And family stress is a big one. And of late, I've been reading a lot, even in the social media, some very disheartening stories we get there, you know, even of people ending up, you know, suicides or death, based on they trusted somebody, they gave all their hearts, and then they were let down, and that adversity crushed them. They didn't know who to talk to, and then depression set in, and depression is real. And so as the leaders, how do we manage this? Of the people we are managing, and they are going through the distress and the pains and the adversity of life. So it's important to know how to deal with it. Then the other adversity, which is very strong, especially even in job situations or in family circles, is also a perceived sense of that there is no support coming from your spouse, from the leadership, from management, and that becomes an adversity that also messes with so many marriages and so many careers. So these are areas we need to be very careful as leaders. Adversity will be there, it will come, and the issue is, as leaders, how do we face this challenge? And we can look at one of the things Martin Luther King Jr. said is, courage is an inner resolution to go forward despite of obstacles and frightening situations. Situations will come. You're running a business or your career or your leader or your family, raising kids, and financial strains comes in. We need courage, leading with courage. Courage it's very important. And especially from a spiritual formation, that's the advantage that comes in. If you spiritually, you depend on a superior deity, maybe with God. For us, it's when you have trust in God. That's what David was saying. Even if I'm surrounded by an army, even if I go through what, the Lord is my shepherd. These are beautiful things that you can see that David was able to read with courage. Courage doesn't mean acting without fear. Fear will come in. It's normal. It means moving forward well, being afraid because the vision is greater than the fear. You know who you believe in. You trust God is greater than the challenge. And we can see a lot of those examples in the Bible. Jesus at Gethsemane, not my will, but your will be done. He was fearful. And another adversity that comes in life is criticism. Criticism is big one, especially to leaders. When you are leading and you are criticized, and remember what I said, as your leadership sphere is big, if it's global, if it's national, the greater the criticism you'll have. And so as a leader, you have to be ready on how to manage criticism. Adversity comes with criticism in terms of whatever position you are leading. And as leaders, we will be misunderstood, we will be criticized, but we need to remain faithful to the call and the purpose that God has given unto us and deliver as good stewards of that leadership that we've been given. So an example I had is in one of my areas in career, I've gone through a lot of adversities, and sometimes when leading, I remember like from a corporate level, there's a time I was in a certain area, and the role, based on my personality, it wasn't fitting in, because my boss perceived that I need to be more aggressive, to tackle, to be hard on people. And the challenge is that wasn't fitting my personality and the way I am. And so that expectation of aggressiveness, dominance, and it brought a lot of adversity and a lot of pressure on me. And because my personality, I'm collaborative and peaceable person, and that environment really drained me. And it was a tough situation for me, and it reached a place that now I really thought that I wasn't making it. It brought some self-doubt and was now leading to depression, because I was feeling I can't make it. There was pressure from the office because of that environment that I was working with. But what I did is I reached for someone, and that's why I want to talk to somebody out there. If you're going through these adversities, it's good to look for somebody to mentor you, to talk to somebody who can coach you, to talk with a leader or somebody who've gone through the role. And when I shared with this person, they were very good, they were very supportive, and one of the things they helped me to discover that I wasn't a failure, but I need to take that adversity of what I was going through as being pushed as a formation to more capacity. Remember, we said that leaders lead with the credibility and also with the skills. So that was the formation, the skills formation in me. So it told me to take that as an opportunity to grow as formation. And I learned that adversity was shaping my voice and not silencing it. Because many people will go through adversity. They'll keep quiet, they'll get into depression, they will withdraw, they will stop learning, they will stop listening, the body system starts shutting up. So we really need to know, and that's where leading with courage comes in. So you take the adversity, the challenge that is you have at hand. David took the challenge. Jesus took the challenge. Nehemiah took the challenge. Oh, everyone we read, Gideon. He was a great leader, but he didn't know what he was until the angel came and told him, a great man, and then it invoked his thinking and his formation as a leader, and he was able to transform to be a great leader. So that was one of the things. Reaching out is one of the way we can be able to manage adversity, turn it around, leading with courage. And then the other thing we just need to know in redeeming adversity is your pain can become your platform. So you can change your pain to become the platform. The pain that David went through became the platform to usher him to be one of the greatest leaders. The same with Nehemiah, the same with Jeremiah, the same with Daniel. They were put in a new territory in Babylon. He was put into leadership. He grew to become one of the great governors in the land, which his services were sought by even 3 kings. The same thing we can see Joseph. He went through a lot of adversity, but he took his adversity and what he was going through, and he turned it and became a platform for his growth. So for us, we need, every time we go through the adversities, they'll come, but it's a way of retooling us and giving us a platform so that we don't just concentrate on the pain, but we look on how can I change this to become a learning lesson, a platform to usher me and to grow me to new skills in leadership and managing the adversity. So adversity reveals your idols also. From adversity, you can know the idols you trust in, you believe in, and then shapes you to become a good leader, tests your motive, purifies your faith, directs your call, it develops your perseverance. So it's important to know that adversity, we can turn it around and use it for our own good, to grow in leadership, because every leader goes through adversity and then to grow up. So as I conclude, we'll be getting to the details in our webinar, talking more the specific areas or adversities that have shaped us. I have so many examples from my personal life, from my, as I grew up, and in campus, in career, as I changed from different careers, worked in different areas. There are so many adversities even in ministry, but one of the things is I've seen you have to lead with courage. Leaders lead with courage. Courage overcomes adversities in life, and we turn around the adversities and they become a platform to become great leaders. So some of the reflective questions that I post in the book as I finish is, what recent adversity has challenged your leadership? Right now, if you check, there's an adversity you're going through right now. How do you respond emotionally to criticism? Criticism is one of the great adversities that comes in leadership. How do you respond? Do you withdraw? Do you take it positively and objectively? What truth do you cling in hard seasons? When there are tough seasons that flow comes around, what do you stand on? And what are your idols? Do you have idols that when there is adversity, you run onto them? Or do you take it positively and learn and go through and to overcome? Are you trying to escape adversity or to learn from them? What lessons have you learned from the adversities that you've gone through in life? In people relationships, in managing, in financial management, and all those things. Who is working with you during adversity? Are you alone? Do you withdraw? How do you manage? Do you are confident? Do you have somebody you are accountable to? Because you need somebody to be accountable to, somebody to work with you. And so as we finish, we can say adversity, we can lead from our scars and not our wounds. There are people who lead from the pain and they are going through, and they tend up to become very toxic leaders because they want to vent their anger and what they are going through to the people they are leading. No, we should lead from our scars, our healed issues, and we manage the issues we are going through so that we don't transfer the same pain to our people that we are leading. And that comes by not even recognizing it. So we have to be very careful. We need to seek spiritual and emotional mentorship so that we go through. We need to turn our pain into purpose. You come up with whichever way so that you turn your pain through writing, through leadership seminars, and whatever you can do. And so as I finish, we can say adversity is not the end of your leadership. So when adversity comes, that's not the end. It is a platform. It's a pruning ground. It's a proving ground. It's a development area that you can turn it around to make you a better leader. As we remember the examples of Jesus, of David, of Paul, of Nehemiah, of Daniel, of Moses, they went through a lot of pain and adversity in life, but they turned them to be a ground for them to put them to be one of the greatest leaders that we read. So thank you so much for tuning in. Coming Friday, please join for our webinar that we get to the more details and discuss and then share our experiences. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.